strippers. I like to do that myself. No, I'm kidding. I like goofy shit. I really do like really goofy shit. And this is one of my favorites. Harry's walking down the street and he sees this man. He's got an orange for a head. What happened to you? The man says, well, I released a genie from a magic lamp. He gave me 3 wishes, and my first wish was to be incredibly rich. My second wish was that I'd be irresistible to all women. Well, yeah, said Harry, but what's the third wish? Well, isn't it obvious? I wish I had an orange for a head. It's the stupidest joke I ever heard. This old man hobbles up to an ice cream van and he orders an ice cream cone. Crushed nuts, Grandpa? Nope, rheumatism. The Canadian park ranger's given some hikers a warning about bears. Brown bears are usually harmless. They avoid contact with humans, so we suggest that you attach little bells to your backpacks and give the bears some time to get out of your way. Now, grizzly bears are extremely dangerous. If you see any grizzly bear droppings, leave the area immediately. Well, how do we know if they're grizzly bear droppings? One hiker asks. The guy goes, well, it's pretty easy. They're full of little bells. This flat-chested woman, could be me, went out to shop for a new bra, and she goes in the shop, and she asks if they have a 28A, but she can't even find anyone anywhere, so she goes to a tiny little lingerie shop. This old deaf lady runs it, and she asks if she has anything in the 28A, and the old lady goes, what was that, dear? So the woman lifts her shirt, exposing her breasts, and says, have you got anything for these? And the old lady peers at her and goes, no, dear, have you tried Clearasil? You know, genetic scientists say one day it's going to be possible to grow new body parts and, like, you know, new breasts or new hands. It's going to be a huge moneymaker because, you know, as soon as women grow another breast, men are going to want another hand. This tech support guy to a blonde customer says, look, I need you to right-click on the open the desktop. Okay. Did you get a pop-up menu? No. Okay, right-click again. You see the pop-up menu? Not at all. Okay. Can you tell me what you've done to this point? Well, sure, you told me to right-click, so I wrote down click. This woman's at Logan Airport in Boston. She jumps in a cab and says to the cabbie, take me to a place where I can get a scrod. The cabbie turns around and he says, wow, that's the first time I've heard that said in the pluperfect subjunctive. Scrod. Oh, get scrod. Oh, go get scrod. This frog walks into a bank. He goes up to the teller. Miss Patty Black's is the teller here, and he says, I'd like a loan. Miss Patty Black says, do you have any collateral? Frog says, yeah, I got a pink ceramic elephant. Patty Black goes to the manager and she says, look, there's a frog who wants a loan. He's got a pink ceramic elephant for his collateral. What should I do? Manager says, well, it's a knick-knack, Patty Black. Give the frog a loan.
Oh my God.
I told you I like goofy. This man who always buys his wife anemones for her birthday. Well, he goes to the florist and they've run out of them. So he can't go anywhere else, so he buys the only plant they got left, this big fern. Well, as luck would have it, his wife was delighted. She says, with fronds like these, who needs anemones? I love goofy puns, too. Anemones, anemones. Queen Elizabeth II was visiting one of New York's finest hospitals, and during her tour of the wards, she goes past this room, and this male patient is masturbating. Oh, my God, that's disgraceful. What's the meaning of this? The doctor says, look, I'm sorry, Your Royal Highness, but this man's got a really serious condition where his testicles fill up very rapidly with semen, and if he doesn't do what he's doing 5 times a day at least, he could swell up and he could die. Oh, I'm so sorry. I was unaware such medical conditions existed. Well, they go on the same floor, another room, and this young blonde nurse is performing oral sex on another patient. Oh my God, what's happening here? And the doctor says, well, it's the same problem. He just has a better health plan.
Oh.
This guy goes into the doctor's office. He has this cucumber in his nose, a carrot in his left ear, a banana in his right ear. God, Doc, what's the matter with me? The doctor says, looks like you're not eating properly. Oh, you silly.
Second.
Huh? It took a second.
Yeah.
You know, if a joke's not funny, it's not a joke. But anyway, a guy's been suffering from severe headaches for years with no relief. He tries all the usual cures, but he's finally referred to a headache specialist by the family doctor, and the specialist asks him what his symptoms are. I get these blinding headaches. It's kind of like a knife across my scalp, and the doctor interrupts. He goes, heavy throbbing right behind the left ear? Well, yeah, exactly. How'd you know? Well, the doctor says, I'm the world's greatest headache specialist, you know. I myself suffer from this kind of headache for many years. It was caused by a tension in the scalp muscles. This is how I cured it. Every day, I gave my wife oral sex, and when she came, she'd squeeze her legs together with all her strength, and the pressure would relieve all the tension in my head. Now, you try that every day for 2 weeks and come back and let me know how it goes. So 2 weeks go by. The man comes back, and the doctor says, well, how do you feel? The guy goes, God, I'm a new man, Doc. Thank you so much. I feel great. I haven't had a headache since I started this treatment. I can't even thank you enough. And by the way, you've got a really nice home. This guy goes to his grandma's house and he takes one of his friends with him. And while he's talking to his grandmother, this friend starts eating all the peanuts on the coffee table. He polishes off the whole bowl of them. And as they're leaving, the friend goes, hey, man, thanks for the peanuts. And Granny says, oh, yeah, since I lost my dentures, I can only suck the chocolate off them.
Oh.
This woman saw a little wrinkled-up man rocking in a chair on his porch. I couldn't help noticing how happy you look. What's your secret for a happy life? I smoke 3 packs of cigarettes a day, drink a case of whiskey a week, eat a lot of fatty foods, and I never take any exercise. God, that's amazing. How old are you? 26. This is terrible. Before the final match, this American wrestler's trainer comes to him and he goes, now look, don't forget all the research we've done on this Russian dude. He has never lost a match because of this pretzel hold he's got. And whatever you do not let him get you in that hold. If he does, you're finished. So the wrestler nods. He goes to the match. The American and the Russian circle each other several times, looking for an opening. All of a sudden, the Russian lunges, grabs the American, wraps him in a dreaded pretzel hold. Everybody's sighing with disappointment, and the trainer buries his face in his hands. He knows it's lost. He can't even watch the ending of it. Suddenly, there's screaming and cheering from the crowd, and the trainer raises his eye just in time to see the Russian fly up into the air, and the Russian's back hits the mat with a thud, and the American weakly collapses on top of him and gets the pin. Well, the trainer's freaking out. He's astounded. He can't even believe it. He gets the American wrestler alone. He's like, how the hell did you get out of that hold? No one's ever done it before. And the wrestler says, well, I was ready to give up when he got me in the hole, but at the last minute I opened my eyes and I saw this pair of balls right in front of my face, and I thought I had nothing to lose, so with my last bit of strength I stretched out my neck and bit those babies as hard as I could. You'd be amazed how strong you get when you bite your own balls.
Oh my God.
A helicopter's flying over Seattle, and an electrical malfunction disables all the aircraft's navigational and communications equipment. Well, due to the cloud and the haze, the pilot can't determine his location or the course to the nearest airport, so he sees this tall building and flies toward it. He circles, he makes this handwritten sign that says, where am I? He holds it up in the helicopter window. The people on the building respond quickly. They write their own sign. They hold it up and it says, you are in a helicopter. The pilot smiles, waves, turns the aircraft around, and goes directly to the Seattle airport. when they land on the ground, the co-pilot's like, how the hell did that "you are in a helicopter" sign help you? The pilot says, oh, that's simple. The information they gave me was technically correct, but totally useless, so I knew it had to be the Microsoft building.
Oh.
A young officer was posted to a British Army detachment in the desert. On his tour of the facility with the master sergeant, he saw these camels. Hey, what are those for? Oh, the men use them when they want to have sex. Oh my God, don't say another word, Sergeant. That's the most disgusting thing I've ever heard. Get rid of those camels immediately. Yes, sir. Well, a few weeks went by and the young officer began to get kind of horny. So he called the sergeant over and he goes, hey, where are those camels we used to have? And the sergeant said he'd sold them to a Bedouin that was camped nearby. Well, can you take me to him, please? So the officer and the sergeant went over to the Bedouin camp and found the camels, and the officer told the sergeant to leave them alone for a little while. He picked the most attractive one and had sex with it. Well, on the way back to the camp, the officer asked, Sergeant, do the men actually enjoy this sex with the camels? And the sergeant looked at him in astonishment and said, of course not. They just use them to ride to town where the girls are. This horse is stumbling home from a pub after a solid night of drinking, and he falls in a big hole by the side of the road. And no matter how hard he tries, he can't get out, and he starts panicking. Well, he knows Farmer Brown's going to be pissed off at him if he doesn't get to work on time. And this chicken comes along. He yells, hey, chicken, you got to help me. I'm pissed off. I got to get home for work, or the farmer's going to drag me off to the glue factory. Well, the chick looks at the horse and at the hole, and he says, look, I'm too little to haul you up. So he leaves him there, and the horse suddenly gets this idea. I got it. Wait a minute. Go home and get the farmer's Porsche. Drive over here, tie a rope to the bumper, and drag me out of the hole and back home. The chicken agrees, and sure enough, it works. Well, a few days later, the horse is walking by the same barn, past the same hole, and he finds the chicken, pissed out of his head, clucking around at the bottom of the same hole. Hey, horse, you got to help me. I can't make it out. And the farmer's going to chop my neck if I'm not home in the morning to give him the eggs. The horse looks at the chicken in the hole and admits that he owes him this huge favor, so he couldn't possibly get down there and pick him up. So the chicken tells the horse to go home to get the farmer's Porsche and to come back and get him. So the horse tells the chicken, sounds like a great idea, but I'm way too big to get in the car. The chicken starts crying, and the horse feels real bad. He racked his brains trying to think of a solution because he saved his ass. So finally he gets this idea. He stands over the hole. He lets down his huge horse cock. He tells the chicken to grab on and pulls him out of the hole. The chicken goes on home, and all is well. And the moral? If you're hung like a horse, you don't need a Porsche to pick up chicks. Oh, that's terrible.